Hello, this is Chris Baki from Games Preview. Let's take a look at Builders Next Floor gameplay. Alright, this is Builders, the building a building deck building game, and yes, you can try and say that 5 times fast. In Builders, each player represents a construction company and you're all competing for the biggest contracts. To do so, you're going to have to hire employees, build skyscrapers, and maybe sabotage your competition. The highest value towers at the end of a game wins the massive contract and the game. Set up the game by shuffling this deck of cards, put it face down on the table, leave some space for the discard pile, then lay out 6 cards from the deck face up. I've already done that here, and these 6 cards here are called the available contracts. This is basically the building cards and the laborer cards in one deck. Each player starts the game with this fairly simple deck of employees. You've got the general contractor, you've got the investor, you've got the lawyer, and you've got the CEO. I'll take the 4 starting cards that every player starts with, and I'll shuffle these up, put them face down in front of me. And whoever starts is the person that most recently built something. The rules say for more serious groups, you can reveal a random card from the deck and count the number of empty beers or nails on it. The person with the most goes first, and of course I'll explain that in just a second. So there's basically 3 phases to your turn. You've got the contract phase, the cleanup phase, and the restock phase. The first phase, the contract phase, you can do any of these things. You can generate resources, you can recruit, you can use a permit, you can find new contracts, or you can use the abilities of your floors or your employees. Now, when I say generate resources, I'm talking about looking at the cards just like you would any other deck building sort of game. The investor gives you 2 beers from which to acquire your employees. The lawyer lets you axe 1 floor or fire someone. The contractor lets you build and get a beer or break something down and get a beer. And the CEO gives you a beer or a chance to get a permit. So you'll start by drawing 3 cards from your deck, and in this case I've got 3 beers here, so I can purchase this site supervisor. I can hire them if you like, and this is based on the number of beers in their corner. So I forgot this guy, I've added him to my collection for 3 beers. He will add 3 beers or a permit to my deck, basically. Like all good deck building games, whatever you purchase or hire in this case goes to your discard pile. What the game calls the cleanup phase is basically just take the cards you've used and put them in the discard pile. And then after that you have the restock phase. You'll draw 3 new cards from your deck. When you run out, you shuffle them up, and then until you can draw back up to 3. Over time you'll have the ability to build a building, which is actually, the whole point of the game. To build a building, you'll actually be looking at the number of nails in the upper right corner on these various building cards. So this is 2 nails, which means you need 2 hammers to build it or 2 axes to demolish this floor. This Tea Shop of Terror requires 1 hammer to build, but according to the text, it says 3 axes to remove. The Lonesome Kate's Bar requires 3 nails to build, or 3 axes to demolish. Okay, so far we're collecting cards and building floors, and then we get the inspector that comes into play here. When the inspector card is placed into the available contracts area here, immediately check all buildings to see if they pass inspection. Buildings will fail an inspection if a floor with more nails is above a floor with fewer nails. If a building fails inspection, the inspector, this person right here, will destroy all the floors from the top down until the building passes inspection, and this affects everyone in the game. The game ends when 1 player has enough floors. At that point you'll tally up the points and add the value of all the buildings you have with any abilities that may be from the result of other cards in play. Also, adding just a little bit of complication to things, some cards have different specializations. So this is the Big Booze Micro Brewery. It's a bar, and it must be built on the second floor. This gold-plated housing here is a residential area and can only be built on floor 3 or higher. The Didya and Gitum law firm here, you must play the lawyer to buy this card. So there's a few little quirks that make the game keep it interesting, really. Okay, so first off, I love the diversity in this game. I mean, look at this. We've got the contractor here. We've got a CEO here. We've got a site supervisor here. We've got an electrician. We've got a cabinet maker. You know, these are just a great variety of humans that we get to see building a building, you know? I also love the humor in the floors themselves. You know, you've got the poke and prod luxury spa. You've got the nickel and dimed banking. You've got the club. You've got the Didya and Gitum, the lawyers, and so on. So there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of humor here, and it's a great mix. This is also a pretty good introduction to the world of deck builders. If you haven't played Dominion or Star Realms, this would be a good place to start people. It's got a fun theme. You know, it's a theme people kind of know something a little bit about if they've ever done anything with construction or not. If not, or if you have some experience in the world of construction, this is a great way of telling people, oh yeah, so these are all the different people that go into making a house and so on. So you know how you have some games that they really want to be taken seriously. This is not one of those games. You use beers to recruit employees, you know. So this is a game that shouldn't be taken too seriously. It's a great game to play maybe at a bar, maybe with a beer yourself. It's a great game to play with any non-gamer friends to kind of get them into the world of gaming and to show them what a deck building mechanic is like, really. This has been Chris Bakke for Games Preview, taking a look at Builders. Back this on Kickstarter now. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.